So like at the beginning there was like Dixie and Charlie D'Amelio were living in the Hype House. They also had Addison Rae. So they had all
Yeah.
the big names.
Yeah.
And they did that whole like will they won't they with I'm not gonna call him Little Huddy, Chase Hudson and
Oh my goodness, that little hoodie. I didn't know that was. I've just written down Chase Hudson. I didn't know he was little hoodie.
he's Little Huddy.
Oh, Chase. Chase. Just be Chase. Oh my, calm down, Chase.
And so I think they did a really good job of it, but now after all the like controversies, and they were also doing the parties during the pandemic time,
Yeah.
weren't they? So they have left it. Addison is now with the Kardashians, and the D'Amelio sisters are doing their own
Doing their
thing.
own thing. Well, here's the thing with the Hype House. It just seems like a much more chill time anyway, because only four of the 19 members to begin with actually lived in the house full time. So they had a mansion, only four of them lived in it. And others just kept rooms there that, like, if they wanted to, they could stay in overnight. Because the D'Amelio sisters live in, I can't remember where they live, but they don't live in LA. Or maybe Dixie may have moved, but like they had to go to school and stuff. So they just go over on the weekends for like they just fly over. And yeah, they don't Hype House doesn't take a cut, which is pretty good. And they do seem to have some rules, kind of similar to Team 10, in that
Yeah.
you can have friends over but not a party. Don't know how long that rule lasted. And if you break something, you have 15 days to replace it, which is pretty good too. Um, and if you want to be part of the group, you need to churn out daily content. So kind of similar rules to Team 10 House, but less
Yeah.
like exploitative, and without Jake Paul, which is good.
But I didn't know that Thomas Petrov, who I didn't even hear, like, hadn't
No,
heard of
I
him,
don't
but he
know.
was always
Yeah.
like the older one around all these teenagers,
Oh
which
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah,
weird.
yeah. Mm.
He got kicked out of Team 10.
Oh, do you think he's like the brains behind it then? Do you think
Probably. I
he's like,
think it was him and Lil Huddy who got
yeah,
together and
little
invested
hoodie?
in this mansion. And then,
Okay.
so Chase Hudson was 17 at the time, Thomas Petrov was 21. So still, stop letting 20-year-olds run these
Like
things. Like,
100%, I definitely feel like he shouldn't have done it, but I do think if he did leave Team 10, I think he seems to have learned from the mistakes of Team 10 and that he's not
mm,
taking money from these people,
yeah,
or at least not a percentage cut, and he's kind of implementing similar rules as well, even if they weren't implemented for very long and efficiently. And it's smart, again, it's a pretty smart business idea, but it doesn't last, which is kind of the ridiculous thing. And like you said, a bunch of people in those houses just had relationships, and they was drama there too, which is of course going to
yeah.
happen.
It is like reality TV now, I think, in a lot of respects, it's
100%.
replacing it. But I
Yeah,
did find this very funny. There was a New York Times article written about the Hype House when it first
I read this
emerged.
one. Yeah.
Chase thinks the key to success is to have a lot of energy and personality, and honestly, be a little weird. The weird people get the furthest on the internet.
This,
You have to be talented at something, or a weird, funny mix, or extremely good looking. That's what he thinks is key
and
to
then he didn't he
success.
say doesn't he say something like, and if you're all three,
Oh,
you're
yeah,
like a legend
you're
or
a winner.
something. What do you think you are? Do you think you're the attractive one, the weird, funny one? So ridiculous. And like, I get where he's coming from, and I'm not hating on any of these teenagers because I think we do that too much, especially with like the D'Amelios and stuff like that. I know
Yeah,
they're making mistakes, but guys, they're teenagers. Like, I think they can grow from it, and
yeah,
maybe we don't hate on them a ton because we did this sort of thing to people like Britney Spears, and I just think we need to consider being super cruel.
yeah.
Like, yes, valid criticism is good, but and they deserve valid criticism. They deserve that. But some of you are just mean.
Yeah, no, really
Some
mean,
people are just
like
really mean. And like
unnecessarily.
people body shame all the girls as well. Like I know people have
Mm,
body shamed Dixie D'Amelio when she was only 15. Like how's her whole image of herself is gone. And I know she partially puts herself in that situation, but she's a child. She probably
yeah,
thinks it's great to begin with, and now she's like a household name. Not to most households, but to a lot of people.
yeah,
She's
she's massive.
known. So I don't know. We just need to not be. I think valid criticism, yes, and there's a way to do it, but I think some people are overly cruel to them. Uh,
Absolutely.
and like things like Addison Rae being on the Kardashians, and people hate on her for being on the Kardashians. But if you were like, how old is she? Like just 20 or something, or
Yeah,
maybe
she's really young.
if you were 20 and someone said to you, "Oh, do you want to just be on a couple episodes of the Kardashians?" Yeah, I'd go. I find it weird that Kourtney Kardashian as a 40-year-old decided to be besties with
Yeah,
Addison Rae,
that's
but
weird.
that's a bit odd.
But it makes sense for her to do that. It makes sense for her to try and reach a wider audience in that way.
Yeah,
Like, it's a career move. That's what all these people are. They are business people.
exactly. But
And she's got a good marketing team.
my initial point was, and again, valid criticism is fine. But my initial point was, yeah, on him saying about needing funny, weird people to get far. Are you sure the people that you've got are funny, weird people? Or are they just using?
Cookie.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like when you're a teenager and you suddenly get into the mindset of I'm not like other girls.
Yeah.
I'm different. It feels like he's trying to make them all like that, and that's the thing. You're all just normal teenagers and young adults.
Yeah.
Just feed into that. You're just teens and young adults who've got lucky,
And
and
who
you're
are
attractive.
attractive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
White
white. Yeah.
and in the right place at the right time, like
And like,
to do
well
it.
done, but
Yeah.
don't overthink it. It just is what it is. Well done. You've
Yeah.
succeeded. Enjoy it while it lasts. Try and do some good with it, but don't overthink it and think it's because you're all special people. It's just luck sometimes.
Yeah.
Love to them all, and you know, live your lives, but don't overthink these things. Sometimes people are just lucky.